Welcome back to Fusion YGO. Today, instead of doing an intro, I don't need to intro. I don't need to flex. I don't need to kick a chair. I don't need to flip a table. I don't need to scream best deck at the sky until somebody believes me. I just simply have to show you the best deck in Yu-Gi-Oh! Right now. This is Tearlament Orcust. Let's get right into it and show off what this deck can do. Starting off with the Tearlament monsters. We have 3 copies of Siren. Siren is used specifically in this deck for its ability to send cards from the hand to the graveyard as part of its effect, and then milling 3, which sets your graveyard up for all of your plays and all of your synergy with the Orcust plays. Playing 3 copies of Tearlament Havness. Havness is incredibly important. Being able to summon itself as a body during your opponent's turn that could potentially set you up for a whole host of other plays later on. Havness is incredible, and it is a necessary 3-up. We're running 2 copies of Tearlament's Merly. Merly is a secondary normal summon. It's not your primary normal summon, but it is a secondary option if you don't open any of the Orcust cards. We're also playing 1 copy of Rhino Heart, which is essentially polymerization for the archetype, but with legs. This is a double field spell strategy, but the second field spells are here. This field spell is here strictly to increase consistency. That's 3 copies of Primeval Planet Paralino. It adds a Visa Starfrost or a Tearlament monster. It can pop cards, but things are shuffled back into the deck or put back into the deck from the graveyard. So being able to pop other cards on the field is incredibly powerful. It also will boost all of your fusion monsters and Tearlament monsters by 500. That last part is probably the least important reason to play this card. 1 copy of Suliek. If it's milled, you get to add a Tearlament monster from deck to hand. You mill a lot, so that's nice. And then 1 copy of Terraforming to search Primeval Planet Paralino, making it so you see this engine a little bit more consistently. Orcust. We start off with 3 copies of the Boy. Not the Band Boy. The Band Boy is still banned. But 3 copies of Girsu. Girsu, if it's normal or special summon, you get to send an Orcust or World Legacy card from your deck to the graveyard. And if this card is in the same column as 2 other cards, it becomes a tuner. And then if the only monster on your side of the field, you are able to summon a token to both player sides of the field. Next up is 1 copy of Orcust Nightmare, 1 copy of Symbol Skeleton, 1 copy of World Wand. Nightmare is your booster, and it dumps. So this can dump your World Wand, or it can dump your Symbol Skeleton, depending on what you need to boost things. So it can be used during the damage step with Babel on the field. This is Monster Reborn, and this is your DDR. You're able to revive your banished Orcust monsters. We're also playing 1 copy of Babel and 1 copy of Return. Playing 3 copies of Danger Nessie, 1 copy of Jackalope, and I'll be ordering this soon. This could be Tsuchinoko, but Mothman actually has come in so far in testing. Mothman has actually come in clutch as a getting game knowledge off of it. So if it's hit, you can find out what your opponent's playing in some instances. It's also level 4. If you decide you want to play an Xyz package, that can come up. The most important part is that it's a body. Tsuchinoko is better because it's a guaranteed body, but I like Mothman for the draw. So it's player preference. Right now, it's what I have. Danger Nessie is an Aqua. That does come up. Like 3 copies of Forbidden Droplet, 3 copies of Dark Ruler No More, 3 copies of Super Poly, and then your power 1-ofs are Foolish, Galaxy Cyclone because it's a mill that you could pop Mystic Mine, Called by the Grave, and Instant Fusion. Instant Fusion is essentially a second copy of Called by the Grave in this deck. That does it for the main deck. I went through that very quickly because you've seen Tearlament, you've seen Orcust on this channel for sure, so I don't have a lot to explain, but the extra deck is a little spicy, so let's get into it. 1 copy of Millenniumize Restrict. This card is clutch. Every time you see Instant Fusion, I always summon this to protect my Girsu effect in order to guarantee I'm going to progress. We're playing a copy of Garura. Garura is your Super Poly target. The fact that it lets you draw cards is always amazing, and the fact that Super Poly plus Girsu equals a bunch of draws and stuff and resets your entire hand is amazing. 1 copy of Predaplant Dragos Stapelia. Drago Stapelia is really good. We're running 2 copies of Kit Kalos. This card comes in a lot, and in grindier games or where you're trying to pop stuff, this card is actually incredibly useful. And 1 copy of Kaleido Heart. Kaleido Heart steals games because people are not prepared for this card. So when it's sent to the graveyard by a card effect, it summons itself back and dumps a Tearlament. And when it's summoned or an Aqua is dumped to the graveyard as a hard once per turn, you're able to target a card on the field and shuffle it back into the deck. You pair this with Paralino, you get rid of 2 cards for free. Next up is 2 Girsu. We were playing Orcust, so obviously we're going to play Dingirsu. Dingirsu is incredible. Gotta play it. Must have. 1 copy of IP Masquerena. 2 copies of Galatea. I really wanted to play my 3rd. I have my 3rd ultimate just sitting in my binder, and it's crying because it's lonely. 1 copy of Long Girsu. It outs problems. 1 copy of Nightmare Unicorn. And then my 2 Link 4s. I have 2, and both of them are incredibly powerful. It's just, which do you prefer? I have 1 Topologic Bomber Dragon and 1 Access Code Talker. With Topologic, this comes up in where I'm trying to clear a board, or if I'm playing against something like Sprite, this clears the board, gets rid of the main monster zones. They can't summon to the zones it points to, so summoning this when they have a Sprite Elf out is really rude because they can't use Sprite Elf's effect. Because anything that's summoned to the zones it points to gets nuked. It also has a secondary effect which doesn't come up very often, but it's pretty cool because you can attack defense position monsters and burn for damage. This will burn damage equal to the attack. It's got the Flame Wingman effect, always really nice. And then a single copy of Access Code Talker. You only have Dark, so you don't pop a lot, but that doesn't really matter because what you're trying to do is get to this guy, get him really big, and punch for game. We've got 2 copies of DD Crow. I sided because I don't have the space in the main. I want to keep it as close to 40 as I can, specifically for the mirror match. If you're playing against Tearlament, DD Crow helps play around it. We're playing for back row removal. We're playing 2 Twin Twisters and a Feather Duster. All right, next it's my personal favorite tech choice, and a lot of people here locally specifically hate it. My viruses. Playing 3 EEV, 3 Eradicator Epidemic Virus, and 3 Deck Devastation Virus. Being able to take out all monsters of 1500 or less attack is incredible, especially for 3 turns. Plus it gives you hand knowledge, which is really nice. And Eradicator being able to take out spells or traps, whichever you find more problematic. Incredibly powerful. Deck Devastation requires something with 2000 or more, a Dark with 2000 or more. And Eradicator requires 25 or more, and it tributes for cost. Continuing playing the I Hate Everyone, 3 copies of Anti-Spell Fragrance, and in case you're stuck going first, 1 copy of Orcust Crescendo. That is going to do it for what is, in my opinion, the best deck in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! If you enjoyed, make sure you smash that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. I'm doing this at the end because I'm a failure as a YouTuber and a content creator. If you want to see this deck in action in a live duel, or if you'd like to see some combos, which the combos are kind of weird because the deck is a going second deck, let me know. Leave a comment. Once we hit 1,000 subscribers, we'll be doing a giveaway for every 1,000 subscribers concurrently through the end of the year. We're getting real close. We're 70% of the way there, so help us reach that other 30%. And let's get to that 1,000 subscribers as soon as we can, and we'll be doing a giveaway of the most recent booster set. All right, and until next time, lads, good fun. Have luck. I learned to love the cage you keep me in, but the